Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for being on board for today's session. I'm very delighted and excited to be part of Women in Technology for the year 2022. I'm Shreya Verma, working in Microsoft India as a partner technology strategist. I'm sure some of you would have heard about the Microsoft's partner ecosystem, which is very extensive, diverse, and powerful. For decades, it has been and continues to be the center of how Microsoft delivers technology, services, and cloud to edge solutions that enable business transformation for customers around the globe. In fact, partners influence more than 95% of Microsoft's commercial revenue, either directly or in partnership with Microsoft. As a partner technology strategist, I'm someone who helps partners strategize, onboard, and formulate technical architecture plans for Microsoft services. So again, welcome you all to this session where I will be covering one of the most talked about products of Microsoft, which is Azure Synapse Analytics, and how modern data management and modeling is made much easier with this technology. So let's dive in. I'm going to start sharing my screen. So in the time of worldwide upheaval, as remote work is becoming the new normal and everything today is tracked digitally, organizations must gain full flexibility and control over a massive flux of data from anywhere at any time. Data is truly a key strategic asset for small to large enterprises. And as companies continue to evolve in their digital transformation journey, building and deploying a modern data platform has become the need of the hour. To be honest, businesses today experience no shortage of data in terms of quantity and quality. But the real challenge is tapping into the enormous potential of that collected data and extracting value from it as a resource. So in today's agenda, we'll be covering some of the aspects of how data handling has taken several innovative forms, followed by talking about Azure Synapse Analytics, which is, of course, as I mentioned, one of the hero products of Microsoft in the data field, along with some of its features. And wrapping up the session will be an industry use case and how they've leveraged Synapse in their data modernization journey. Digital transformation is a key aspect of the new programming model of intelligent devices across the cloud. One of the key types of data that's arisen from this new application paradigm is telemetry. Now, telemetry data is everywhere, right? We have our IoT sensors, we have app logs, web logs, click streams, time series, and I can just go on, right? But getting powerful insights unlocked from this data drives advances in the connected devices that consumers and businesses rely on an everyday basis. Leveraging this telemetry data demands a scalable platform that can handle large volumes of data and provide users with if not near, but with at least almost near real-time insights to improve their operations and innovate further. Traditionally and even today, the data that is stored and managed is happening in silos. And of course, it lacks real-time visibility and the scaling limitations. And of course, more than anything, it's so costly to maintain. Moreover, correlating this data with businesses has become even more complicated. First one, sorry, this seems to be right. So firstly, when it comes to digital information, there are two streams or goals to follow. Talking about the intelligent applications, as you can see over here, you have to leave the foundational comfort zone of app migration and app modernization and take it to the innovation zone where your strategic apps are infused with smart apps. Talking about the data intelligence, you will have to leave the foundational zone of data migration and data modernization and decrease the effort to enter the advanced analytics or the data intelligence offered by AI and ML. So when all of this comes together, Microsoft oftentimes refers to this as something called digital feedback loop. You could think about it as, say empowering your employees or engaging with customers or optimizing operations and transforming your products. So any idea around creating an application will have a digital aspect to it. In today's world, or as the Microsoft marketing team likes to say, we have what's known as the paradox of analytics. Now, when I go back to, my networking or my data specialist days, about 2 to 3 years back, I had a SQL server, I had a data analysis server, I had a data crunching and reporting server. And here I am today in a tech consulting role, working with exactly the same kind of technologies that were there, but with just an update and coupled with like a couple of more, cloud native bus technologies. So as technology is revolutionizing at a very fast pace, you would get new technologies from time to time. But again, as I'm sure you can relate with me, it's quite a pretty hefty upfront cost to train your team, to build your infrastructure, to basically prepare that mindset in your team, right? So customers today and even back then, they were not very open to immediately adapting the new technology. But once they entered cloud, we had all of this stack on our fingertips, right? So say something like a dedicated pool of a pool which is on prem. If you have like a dedicated server, that would definitely make a hole in your pocket, right? It would cost about like $250,000. But now in cloud, when you go ahead and spin up a few servers, it happens like this, and it happens so fast and it's so cheap. It would cost about $1.50 an hour, and you can easily go ahead and build some POCs on the go. But as the data has become easier to access via our desktops and phones, and it's all on our fingertips, the paradox still remains. The paradox still remains because the data sources are now in silos, and management and operation on it is also happening in disconnected bubbles. So as the number says it all, data volumes are growing exponentially as we speak, but it's of no use until there's some value extracted out of it. The companies are storing more and more data than ever before, and less data is being analyzed as systems really can't keep up with it. And that's the reason we have something called a dedicated pool, right? Which we will talk about in our upcoming slides, which basically helps you process that big data, and it helps you churn all of that big data within one workspace. Right. So which is why I'm really not surprised to see this number here, because analytics and AI is definitely the number one investment for business leaders today, but they are still struggling to get a return on their investment. So want to know why? One of the biggest problems with the return is that, it's right here, as I mentioned before, right? This siloed sections of data as a result of data stores is making the data more and more disconnected. Now we have technologies like data lake, data warehouse, data mart, and I'm sure you would have heard of at least one of them if you're in the data field, which is causing your data to be more siloed. And I'm going to talk about how you're going to be dealing with this siloed data, but this is the main problem statement here, right? So as we see that, each new technology that enters the data domain creates more opportunity, but it also makes it harder and harder to bring our data together. So with Azure Synapse Analytics, we'll be introducing the concept of analytics continuum. And the goal here is that the jobs that you need to do as a data professional for the data platform, you can bring all of these technologies into a single platform, or you can call it a single workspace or like a unified environment for all of your personas. So be it your analysts, be it your engineers, your data scientists, if you need to do data exploration or artificial intelligence or machine learning or data warehousing, all of that is going to happen under one single roof. Synapse Analytics, with the core technologies that we've already reviewed, has a very big purpose and a big goal, right? So the main goal is to collate all of this data, to create a binary fusion of all these technologies, right? So there might be some or the other new technology, some new flashy technology which will keep coming, but we as leaders, or we as people who are data enthusiasts, we will have to understand what we really need and understand how to adopt that new technology in the most efficient way. So analytics should seamlessly be integrated in the ecosystem, as I'm sure most of you will agree. And the need of the hour is to simplify analytics in a manner that breaks down these silos and makes the most of the data available for analysis without having to jump through several hoops. In an ideal world, streaming operational data should be available for immediate analysis. As I said before, that there needs to be near, or at least close to near, real-time analysis of the data, and you should be able to run models on the data immediately. And trust me, it's so easy for me to say this out loud, but it's not a trivial problem. So this is where Azure Synapse Analytics, or ASA, comes to the rescue. It fulfills the promise of limitless analytics services, creating a single place for collaboration for your data engineers, database admins, data scientists, and business users, and helps them access the data from anywhere and anywhere. So it's the first of a kind unified cloud native platform for converged analytics, and it allows users to ingest, prepare, manage, serve, visualize, and analyze the data using a unified experience. So users can bring their analytics to where the data is located rather than switching to a different interface. So wherever your data is, you get Synapse over there, start crunching it, and you're good to go. So there are multiple analytics platforms used, like Hadoop, Cloudera, MS Insight, for processing big data and relational data. In our MS world, we have a data lake, which some of you would have worked with, which stores large amount of structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. And data warehousing, on the other hand, is used along with data lake for collecting and managing all of that data from varied sources to provide meaningful insights. So these are just two different segments which are used independently in order to manage your data. But Synapse here basically gives you the freedom to query data on your terms, using either serverless or provisioned resources at scale. Azure Synapse brings these two worlds together with a unified experience to ingest, prepare, and manage data. And of course, with the integration with Power BI, it helps you give even more insightful visualization and the machine learning means. Synapse is about 94% less expensive than its competitors, and it gives its customers about 99.99% of SLA, right? Which is great. That is way more than any of our competitors today in the market. And not just that, but it also gives you the flexibility to ingest variety of data. So that helps your developers double their productivity, right? They don't have to think about what kind of SQL warehousing tool to use, what kind of data should I clean before actually putting it out in the tool, because all of that is provided by Synapse as an inborn feature. Beautiful, right? So Synapse creates an ecosystem by enriching the data using machine learning models. And guess what the best part is? You can do all of this machine learning just by using a single GUI, right? So there is no coding required. It's a code-free experience using automated machine learning within the Azure machine learning itself. And instead of going ahead and modeling your data, it's all in a click. It's all a click away, and you will get your models ready on the go. Also, you can seamlessly integrate your Power BI, as I mentioned before, which is providing a graphical complement to Azure Synapse with built-in Power BI authoring, giving users access to unprecedented insights from data, right? So you would get beautiful visualizations of your data in graphs, in time series data. So it makes it easier for your business analysts to, get insights from that data. So all of it is happening, all of it is very tightly coupled, which makes it what it is today. All right, so let's look at how this can be implemented on Azure. You can leverage the Azure Data Factory, which basically does three different things, right? One being you can use it as a data factory to move the data from your on-prem data sources onto Azure or any other cloud platform, be it your AWS, GCP, or Azure, of course, right? Or of course, you can use it for your data factory to orchestrate the pipelines. So when I say pipeline, essentially is when you create a ETL or ELT like transformations. So you don't need like a third person to create your ETL and ELT. You will have all of that inbuilt. You can also use your data factory to schedule these workflows on a timely basis, such as an hourly schedule, be it daily or weekly, and so on. And last but not the least, Data Factory also offers you the ability to transform the data with a UI-based transformation, which is called as mapping data flows. It is designed to be low-code or no-code technology, allowing non-programmers to be able to process large-scale data sets through simple drag and drop like UI functionality. So once you've ingested the data and processed within the common kind of transformation, you can leverage the Azure Databricks for complex transformation scenarios. Now, for example, one of my partners, when he was working with this infrastructure, he was a banking organization. The partner was a banking organization, and he had quite a complex business logic, right? So he wanted to he what he did was he leveraged Databricks, and he was able to not just use it for your data processing, but since the data warehouse is already linked to your Spark, he was able to parallelize the processing logic and use the SQL data warehouse, right? So he used Synapse as a semantic layer, but at the same time, he was able to integrate his Power BI for visualizing the reports, and Spark, of course, for more management of data and getting more predictions from data. So all of that integration definitely gave him actionable insights on his data. However, for most of the modern data warehouse scenarios today, as I mentioned before, that my partner was using a data lake and data warehouse separately for separate functionalities. Today, you have all of that big data capabilities such as Spark, SQL data warehouse combined together, right? And you can build one of the most modern data warehouse solutions just using Azure Synapse Analytics itself. As I mentioned, I've been emphasizing so much on the Power BI because it is quite a powerful tool to integrate. Right, so let's take a deeper look into how Synapse Analytics really works. Let's take a bottom-up approach here. And as you can see in the bottom, you have an Azure Data Lake storage, which basically allows you to store different kinds of data, be it structured, semi-structured, and unstructured, such as videos, images, audio files, etc. Powered by enterprise grade security, it allows you to define granular access control to the users accessing the data living on the data lake storage. So you can store all of that data at a very cheap cost, and because it's powered by the common data model, so you wouldn't have to really worry about the semantics such as the common entities and the attributes, right? So all of that is already taken care by Azure. Not just that, but you can also take advantage of any solution accelerators which are already built on top of the common data model. Now, moving a little bit up, so with Synapse Analytics, we have combined all of those capabilities which I just mentioned for the data factory into the Synapse itself. So you can all of a sudden you can do all your ingestion, ELT, ETL, pipeline formation, all of that in one um, platform. So this is the use case which I dealt with quite recently, and I would love to share that experience with you. For more than 180 years, PNG has built a thriving business by challenging norms and delighting customers, right? I'm sure all of you would have heard about them. They have a range of household products, be it your toothpaste, be it soaps or paper towels, laundry detergents, and whatnot, right? So, in nearly every country on earth, they do have their products spread across. So, given its broad scope and long history, P&G had numerous data points about its business, including what drives sales and product preferences, but the data resided in geographically dispersed silos, and PHG's legacy systems really couldn't link hundreds of, those disparate data types to gain collective insights. So PNG came to us and they sought a platform that could unlock those silos and provide a single view for their business users. So PNG finally found what they needed with the powerful suite of Azure data and AI solutions, including Synapse, Data Lake Storage, and Power BI. They truly appreciated the scale, flexibility, and the analytical muscle of Azure. So they were quite happy, and along with that, they were also able to have their backend as Synapse and front end as Power BI tools. So they are our happy customers, and they have very seamlessly integrated their solution for neighborhood analytics, for product marketing and packaging, and they've of course built a very resilient supply chain as well. So that's that. Thank you so much for having me. And this was just a short brief of what this tool really does. But there are quite a lot of sessions that we keep conducting for our partners and for people who might be interested in knowing the technology better. So if you would like to have like a live demo of how things are really done on the field, you can always contact me and get in touch with me. So yes, thank you so much for being part of this session. Hope you liked it and have a great day.